Okay, ladies and gentlemen, from the second YouTube channel of Charlatan, today we're doing a Raze on Fracture VOD Platinum 1 ELO. On the table, we have David, which is a tier 3 sub on our Discord server, and with tier 3 Discord sub, you get a benefit of 1 guaranteed free VOD review, plus all of these secret coaching channels are unlocked for you, plus you get the access to the Jet playbook, Omen playbook, Raze playbook, and agent guides. Now, I feel my mechanical skill with Vandal has been deleted from my brain. I used to only play Vandal, and now I'm 2 times better with a Phantom. What's the problem there? What's the problem there? Okay, if you feel that the Phantom suits you better than a Vandal, abuse the Phantom, like, no problemo. I don't see a single problem there. Like, obviously you should try to practice both weapons. To be fair, based on these statistics, you are, you know, 10% better with a Phantom, with a Vandal than with a Phantom. I don't know how true this is. Like, this is more of his personal feeling, in my opinion, than actually something that is true based on statistical data. I mean, both weapons are fine. You should be maining the weapon that suits your playstyle, shooting mechanics, and essentially, you know, whatever you prefer as a player. But you should be practicing both weapons, of course, in deathmatch practice range and all of that good stuff. Now, you know, you can stick with the Phantom if you like the Phantom already. Like really, there's no problems there. Like, your statistics are quite identical. I mean, obviously with the Vandal you're going to have a higher headshot percentage ratio because, you know, like, you don't need to, I mean, it's a 1 bullet to the head. Like, you don't need to go for the body shots. So essentially, I don't see a problem there. Like, in my eyes, everything is fine. Sometimes I make bad decisions irrationally. I don't know how to fix these bad habits. Every single bad habit you should fix with a negative impact to your brain and to your physical body. So you make a bad decision, bam, slap yourself. I'm just kidding. Don't hurt yourself. But you know, 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups immediately. You make some kind of an aggression that you should not have done, or maybe like you, I don't know, you overpeak something, you overpush, you die in a stupid way. 10 push-ups immediately. Like, essentially, you're never going to learn how to play the game if basically, like, also you should WOD review yourself more. Like, I really feel that a lot of the players in solo queue, they never saw their gameplay ever in their life from the third person perspective. WOD review yourself. Like, try to ask yourself why this play didn't work out. Like, what did I miss? Is it a map awareness, game awareness? Is it some kind of a piece of utility that is essentially, you know, that I missed at that moment of time? Like, basically, Valorant is more of a gambling game that is played like a chess in an adaptive way. And you need to learn how to play every single scenario to perfection, where essentially the absolutely last thing that should decide the outcome of your rounds is your mechanical skill. But everything else should be absolutely perfect. Positioning, movement, crosshair placement, etc, etc. Like, learning how to play different numbers. Like, but you are never going to learn that if you're just spamming the ranked matches 24/7, and if you're never taking a step back to review yourself, see what's going on, what can I do better in that specific scenario. You get a point. I feel like my movement isn't where it's supposed to be in order to get good kills. I don't know, we're gonna see today. Overall, I don't know what I should change in my game style in order to get better. I've been hardstyle platinum for almost 2x now, and I cannot seem to get out of it. Let me see the tracker. Let's see the tracker. So this Act 79 matches. Yeah, like KD. It's okay. Like, statistic for a gold player, it's not bad, but this is gold ELA. You know, like, if you want to carry these matches, you need to have a bit better KD overall. Like, 1 KD is fine. I mean, he's at least trading himself, if nothing else. But, you know, like, in these lower elo lobbies, even if you're playing someone like Duelist, you don't need to always go in first if your teammates are not ready to go in. Like, you need to learn how to play with different type of teammates in different type of elos, and adapt yourself to your allies. Like, I see a lot of Jet and Raze players, like, in gold platinum lobbies. Like, they do the perfect execute, but their teammates are like 10 light years behind them. Wait a bit. You know, no one is forcing you to make a play. Like, it is always better to play as a team, play as on the refresh potential, try to trade each other's out, like, compensate the mistakes that your teammates are doing. And especially in Gold and Platinum and Diamond Elo, I mean, every Elo below Immortal 1, I would always value my own life over the life of my teammates. And I would try to stay alive as much as I can by doing some kind of a execute that allows me to play on the contact refresh potential, but I'm not like rushing in like a maniac and trying to kill 3 players alone, which is most of the times impossible. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Tenz or Scream, like, you know, you double satchelating into site with Raze without any support of your allies. I mean, hardly unlikely that you will kill like 3 enemies in the same time. So, you know, when it comes to like, when it comes to playing in those lobbies, like, you need to play a bit more of a, you need to have smart gameplay, essentially. Like, you need to adapt to your allies hard. In the first 4 rounds, you should be, you know, asking yourself, what type of teammates I have with myself? You know, are they aggressive, passive, good but aggressive, bad but aggressive, good but passive, bad but passive? And essentially try to adapt to their playstyle and, you know, just try to follow them up to some degree. You should still be doing your job, you know, denying the space of the enemies, taking the space control for your allies, etc, etc, but chill a bit, chill a bit. ADR on Raze is actually really good for Gold. Like, this ADR, not bad. Not too shabby. One thing that I would recommend you, I mean, in all of the lobbies below Immortal, team compositions really don't matter. Like, I mean, as long as you have a controller in your team, you're good to go, essentially. I see that you're finding a lot of success with Raze and Cypher, so I would just recommend you spam Raze and Cypher. Also with Jett, you're not bad. I mean, you just play 2 games, to be honest, but, you know, like, if I was you, I would just be playing Jett, Raze, Cypher, end of the story. You're feeling quite a lot. Like, I mean, you're playing Reyna, you played 8 matches of Deadlock, Omen. Okay, you have a high win rate, but I don't know, like, it's 5 matches only, to be honest. Like, you're playing Fade, Killjoy, Sage, Breach. Fuck it. You know, until Immortal 1, like, try to master, like, 1, 2, 3 agents, or a specific category of the agents from these ones that I've explained in my free resources right here. Like, on my Discord server, you can find my current agents tier list and, you know, in which elo you should main what, and, you know, what is good for a specific rank. And essentially, like, you know, Jett, Raze, and Cypher, you know, rock with them. They work for you, not bad. Like, I mean, we'll see what you're doing with Raze, to be honest. Now, when it comes to, like, maps, on Haven, like, you're, like, 1-6 with Raze, bro. I don't know what's happening on Haven and Lotus. Like, why are we terrible on these 2 maps? On Haven, maybe you can switch Raze for... Maybe you can switch Raze for Jett. Maybe that is gonna be a bit better. Theoretically speaking, you know, in these ranks where you're right now, it is much easier to carry with Jett than to carry with Raze. Like, if your teammates are not using proper smokes to support your pushes, a lot of times you'll find yourself in a lot of pupukaka. Lotus, I mean, Lotus should be a good map for Raze. I don't know, you know, maybe on Lotus you can rock with a Cypher if you're already not finding success with Raze. Anyways, on Lotus, duelists have a very, very low impact, in my opinion. Like, especially Jett. Like, Jett is kind of like whatever. Raze is the best duelist on Lotus, but if you're already at 25% win rate with Raze on Lotus, fuck it. Let's you know, let's focus on something else. Pearl is also like... Pearl is a really terrible map for Raze. Like, when I was doing Unranked to Immortal with Raze, Pearl was really maybe the hardest map for me to pull out the Raze up to high Immortal lobbies. Like, essentially, Raze utility on Pearl is very underwhelming compared to other duelists. Like, if you're already comfortable playing Cypher, spam the Cypher, and I would recommend you to switch the Raze for Jett. Like, Raze is really... I mean, up to Immortal 1, yeah, you can dominate the lobbies, like, just by spamming one agent, basically, and mastering that character. But if Cypher is already working for you, fuck it. And I would recommend you, you know, learn to play Jett on Pearl and Haven and just switch the Raze for Jett. Everything else is okie dokie. I mean, Bind should definitely be one of the best maps for For Raze, same as Fracture. Let's see his weaponry here. Okay, still using the Spectre. Stinger is far better weapon than Spectre in majority of case scenarios. Like, I heavily recommend you guys to learn how to play Stinger, how to abuse the Stinger, and essentially your win rate will be much higher. Your kill potential is higher with Stinger than with a Spectre. Plus, you're saving more economy for yourself for the future rounds if you want to save for the Operator, for an example. First round buys, I mean, depends, like, you know, which map you're playing with a Raze. Like, sometimes I'm gonna go with a Sheriff, with a Ghost, with a Classic, depending on the map. Operator is something that I heavily recommend you to use a bit more, especially in the lobbies below Immortal 3. Like, getting some easy kills with the Op is the easiest shit that you can do. Like, the easiest kill potential. As soon as you notice that the enemies have bad executes, bad utility usage, they're not using some proper utility in specific area of the map, pick up the Op, demolish them, end of the story, baby. And Shorty, I would still advise you to keep it as a secondary weapon in every single round where you can afford it. Still a powerful weapon to trade yourself for easy kills through the smokes in the close choke points. Like, yes, it is not as powerful as it was before, but still a valuable weapon. It's better to peek the enemies with Shorty when you have 5 HP in a close range gunfight than swinging the enemies with a Phantom, for an example. Your eco rounds are terrible. Probably because you're using Spectre, Ghost, Sheriff. I don't know what you're buying in eco rounds. I mean, your eco rounds that really depend on the map that you're playing. Like, in ecos, like, I don't know, I find a lot of success, like, with Shorty still. I mean, the whole point of playing eco rounds is training yourself for at least 1 or 2 kills before you die. Trying to damage the enemy's economy, trying to give your teammates higher chances of winning that round. So you need to develop some strategies with a Shorty or whatever the hell you're playing in eco rounds. I see a lot of players when they're playing eco rounds, they play them in a way where they just don't give a shit. You know, like, they're playing like, oh, it's an eco round, we're gonna lose it. No. You know, we can still win an eco round. You know, like, we don't need to lose it, you know, like, or at least, like, let's try to damage the enemy's economy a bit. Other than that, like, fine. Like, when did you start playing the game? Okay. Recent Valorant enjoyers. So, episode 5, Act 2. Somewhat, yeah, we are hard stuck here, bro, huh? We are definitely hard stuck. I mean, you didn't invest that many hours in the game. Like, 258 hours is nothing. Like, currently I'm playing against some Radiant players that have, like, 300 hours in one act. Like, you know, if you truly want to grind Valorant, you need to play at least 3 games per day, every single day. If you want to see some consistent improvements and if you truly want to grind in this game. Like, playing, you know, 3 games and then not playing for 4 days, like, that's not gonna do it. Gladius, thank you all for the sub, baby. Thank you all, 39 months. What the hell, bro? Okay, let's see how much you play per day. 5, 9. It's okay, you know, like, but you still have these days, you know, where you're inactive. My mean. If you can, I would highly advise anyone, like, if you truly want to improve at Valorant, and you truly want to grind a game, 3 games per day is minimum. Plus some kind of a training, plus some kind of a warm-up, you know, like, there are kids that have, like, 24/7 to play this game. They're playing 14 matches per day. You cannot compete with these kids if you don't have that much time to actually play the game. But, okay, I mean, we are still in Platinum 2, even though, like, we didn't grind that much. Like, this act is kind of shit for you. I mean, this act overall, like, I really feel that this act, Episode 1, Act 1, is one of the worst acts in Valorant thus far. Like, every single act, every single episode, the ranked solo queue is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Somehow. Like, literally, people are giving less and less shit. I'm seeing more mentally ill players, and I don't know what's happening with the community, man. Literally. Okay. Let's see what you're doing, baby, on Fracture with Raze. Okie dokie. Raze. Yo, bro. Sorry, guys. I played like 9 matches today. We won 4, we lost 4, and we went 1 draw. Every single match went 13-10. Like, we played 26. Like, today I played like, what? Over 250 rounds of Valorant. Like, my brain cells, I'm losing brain cells. Like, don't do this. You know, like, playing this many games in a row is never a good idea. Never a good idea. Okay, let's see where we're starting at. Ba-ba-ba, shababa, shababu, shibitza. Okay, good. So we're starting on the attacker side. I just want to repeat myself one more time. I know you watched my VODs, the playbook and everything, like, you know, you're the big brain community. But arcade is the main area of the map. A main is the main area of the map. B main is the lurking, splitting area of the map. Dish is the lurking, splitting area of the map. So essentially, whenever your match is going to shit, or if you have no idea what to do, it is always good to start the games with an arcade and aim and control. Try to push the enemies back towards the site, and then decide where we're gonna go next. It is extremely hard pushing the B site only through the B main choke point, because once you push into the site, you're overexposed from enormous amount of different angles from which enemies can kill you. Enemies can stomp you with the utility here and delay your push for days. So, taking the arcade control on the attacker side should be your higher priority than pushing only through the B main area of the map. And also, controlling A main gives you enormous amount of pressure onto the enemies, and then we can decide maybe, you know, let's commit to the push, let's push doors, let's push A main, let's push dish, sand, whatever you know, whatever you want to push essentially. Now, with that being said, I firmly believe that the absolutely best thing that you can do on I mean, this is just statistical data. Like, you know, I've been coaching players for the last 3.5 years, and essentially, like, you know, I've collected enormous amount of data from ranked solo queue. Push 3 times in a row through the arcade and pressure the enemies onto the B site. So 3 times in a row, try to call out to your teammates, hey guys, let's do a 4-1 or a 5-0 push into the arcade, where 4 or 5 players are going arcade, 0 or 1 players are lurking through the B main area of the map. We take the arcade control, number 1, we take the site control, number 2, and then we take the tower control, number 3. In the first round, and in every single round where the enemies are eco or halby, don't push straight onto the tower, but instead choose this pathing right here. Going through the site, taking the site control, and then taking the tower control. When you are full buy, enemies are full buy, or your eco and enemies are full buy, then we can, you know, push the tower first and then fight for the bomb site control. Or maybe we can do some double satchels into the gen, double satchels into canteen, depending, you know, how the enemies played the first 3 rounds. So in the first round with Raze, obviously, you know, I would take the spike. I would force my teammates to do the strategy because I'm taking the spike in the arcade. I don't give a shit, you know, I'm pushing arcade with the spike. If you want to follow me, good. If you don't want to follow me, deal with it, basically. Then, with Raze, in the first round, I will buy a classic, life shield, 2 satchels. Tell your breach to flash you there, and tell your brimstone to do the smokes immediately. Immediate smokes, immediate steam beacon. We're pushing here, jump spotting the enemies. You can tuck your nade onto the tower, into the canteen, or onto the gen. Personally, in the first round, I love tucking my nade into the gen so that I'm disallowing the enemies to peek me as I'm pushing through this corridor right here. And in the same time, I'm protecting the buttholes not only of myself, but also of my teammates. Like, a lot of the players, they're saving their utility, such as nades, molotovs, for the post plants or for some kind of a shit like that. Like, the primary focus of the Raze utility is not damage. The primary focus of Raze utility is actually denying the space of the enemy and clearing the angles, essentially. Now, in the first round, this is how your push would look like. Basically, we're jump spotting here, we can push here, jump spot the enemies again, we can tuck the nade into the gen once we clear this, and then we can do some double satchels onto the tower, kill the guy in the tower from behind, take the side control, voila. Simple like that. And, you know, I would repeat the same shit 3 rounds in a row, and then after in the 4th round, you become very unpredictable because enemies don't know if you're gonna push A site, B site, C site. Are you gonna fake A, fake B, go A, go C? They don't know. So basically, a lot of the players in Valorant love to push A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Very bad. It's 10 times easier for me to read you if you're pushing A, B, C, D, E, F, G instead of you're just pushing B. And I will be able to tap to you. And it's essentially in ranked solo queue, the microphone, sorry. In ranked solo queue, the number one disease, actually not number one, like there's multiple diseases in ranked solo queue, but the number one problem that players have in ranked solo queue is their adaptiveness is 0 points. So even if you push the B site through the arcade 12 rounds in a row and that is working for you, great. Because players in solo queue very rarely adapt in the early rounds to what you're doing. I mean, you can quite literally push arcade 8 rounds in a row, take this space here, and then maybe go back on A or commit to the push or reheat the site again. And trust me, players adapt maybe in the 7th or 8th round. Like, that's the number one most stupid thing that players are doing in solo queue. Is the microphone good now? I hope it is. Now, let's see what you do. Okay.
There.
Mistake number 1. If you want to tell your teammates to do some kind of a strategy, even if you're playing Raze, even if you're playing Jet, pick up the spike. Like, by picking the spike, you force your teammates to listen to you. And you give them a visual call out that we are pushing the arcade area of the map. Obviously, I'm not gonna be pushing into the bomb site with a spike. You know, as I'm pushing in and I'm clearing these angles, you know, doing the nade, I'm dropping the spike there. And now I'm doing some kind of an execute. That's it. Like, I'm not gonna carry the spike into the site, obviously. But condition your teammates to actually listen to you. This is especially important in lobbies such as Platinum, Gold, Silver, Bronze. Like, I mean, come on, these guys are gonna, you know, you're gonna push through arcade right now, and your teammates won't give a shit. Like, they're gonna carry the spike in the B main, they're gonna die in B main or maybe A site, and you're playing the retake of the spike. It's much better for me to have a spike there, and then take it and plant it. Like, you get the point. Okay, let's go. Oh fuck, we have the Omen, man. Platinum Omen playing Fracture.
There. There.
Okay. We don't hear the voice comms, unfortunately. Bro. What the fuck is that smoke? Can we zoom in on that smoke? Look at the gap, bro. Bro, that gap is bigger than my anal cavity when top 50 Radiant players penetrate me, bro. Like what the fuck is that, man?
Shadows traveling.
Oh, what is that second smoke, man? Okay, quick talk. If you see this type of smokes, try to tell, like, essentially, in ranked solo queue, until Immortal 1, you can win every single match as long as you have a good controller player and 4 duelists. Like, you can play 4 duelists and have 1 controller and win every single game. But that controller needs to give you good smokes. Like, we need to have a smoke here like this, smoke here like this. This is the good setup with Omen when we are pushing onto the B side. If this smoke is here, what is preventing the enemy jet to rip my head apart as I'm executing the site with double satchels with a sheriff or ghost? This gap here is gonna burn your asshole quite a lot as well. Observe when this happens for you. Like, essentially in solo queue, the only players that you need to correct when you're playing duelists are your smokers and initiators. And paying attention, what your sentinels are doing with a sage wall, for an example, like, whether or not a certain wall is fucking you up. This was fine, just, like, the big problem is, the big problem here is the smoke setup, like. Yeah, but also we have another problem. Like I said this earlier on. Like, if I'm executing the first round, the B site, jump spotting this, pushing here, tucking the nade, and then from this position, this is what you need to master. This is what you need to do. So basically, you want to close the gap with this guy, delete him, take the tower control, and that's it. You don't want to start your satchels here, because then you'll end up here in a potential crossfire between this guy, and this guy. You want to reach this position as fast as possible, delete the guy onto the stairs or tower, get into the tower. In the same time, deny the space in certain area of the map so that enemies cannot peek you. But you see, like we literally lost this round because one guy decided to lurk and flank, and because our smoke setup is terrible, bro. Like, this smoke setup is from Narnia. Okay, don't be afraid to push the B set again. Like basically, arcade area of the map, you can push in any round. When you're eco, when you're half buy, when you're this, that, full buy, etc., etc. Like, this area of the map, you can take control of it in almost any round that you play. Like, it's completely fine. Like, the more unpredictable your pattern of pushing is, it's easier gonna be for you to win the 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, etc., etc. Right now, buy one satchel, buy shorty, jump spot the enemies here, deny the space there, jump spot the enemies here, try to get onto the tower, drop the satchel onto the tower. You get the point, like what I'm trying to tell you. Like, essentially, right now going onto the A site, I mean, if that's already AB pattern, then, it's okay. I mean, we can test the enemies on A site right now, just why? Okay.
There. Reloading. Blocking sight.
I love the discipline. I love the discipline here. Like, discipline from you in this scenario was really, really good. Like, not going for that Raze kill and disengaging in the Raze was a really good game decision. Like, even though you have 17 HP, like, killing that Raze would be borderline impossible. And essentially, this is something that is very rare to be seen from duelist players, like in Gold and Platinum. Like, this is how every duelist player should play, essentially. Like, if you don't get a kill, if your push gets stopped, you don't have any more utility to push the site, stay alive. You're much more useful for your teammates alive than fucking dead. Maybe wait for the Sage to heal you, or wait for your teammates to initiate the push. With 17 HP, right now, you can be pushing first the site, getting the first contact with the enemies, revealing the enemies on the site, and your teammates will have easier time taking the site control. We just need to remember...
Enemy Vandal.
Okay. Bro, I would kill someone to have this type of a ping, man. The guy has 15 ping.
Wall raised.
One enemy remaining.
Sage is playing on laptop, man. Speakers. Bro, demons coming from the Sage microphone. You know, this peak here, I don't like at all. Like, hunting this frag, I don't like for two reasons. Reason number one is we have a Vandal. We damage the enemy's economy quite a lot. The enemies are in a huge dipshit right now. Like, basically, they lost an anti-eco round, and your economy is gonna blossom after this save round. So right now, saving this Vandal and then buying a heavy shield will guarantee you having enough money to buy for the next 2 or even 3 rounds, and even if you lose all of these 3 rounds in a row. Like, in the earlier stages of the game, don't focus yourself so much on the kills, pointless kills, and hunting the frags. Focus on building the proper economy, not only for yourself, but also for your team. The second reason why I don't like this, I mean, our Jet is 1 hit. Sage is also 1 hit, because she doesn't have armor. This guy has a Marshall. This round can very, very easily be clutched with the Viper. Hardly, unlikely, you know, but still, why? Oh yeah, like I can definitely see that your movement is completely disconnected from your aim. Like, essentially, bro, like you need to stop and shoot a bit more. Like essentially, you're always shooting before you stop. You know, like this problem we need to fix. Now, when it comes to fixing this problem, because you said it on Discord, like you stated that this is one of your issues. I got rank reset to silver this sector and climb back to platinum, but I seem to have issues in platinum as I did in the last act. I mean, Raze, but I also like to play Sentinel from time to time when I have to fill. You said that one of your issues is like movement isn't where it's supposed to be in order to get good kills. I'm going to give you one of my private training routines for this problem. So I'm just gonna share one routine for you to use. Like, you can practice this like in a deathmatch, in team deathmatch, in range. Like, thus far, in the first 2 rounds that I watched from you, this problem is very, very noticeable. Like, I mean, it's only been 2 rounds. Like, if I was you, I would hyper focus on this problem for the next 3 days, for the next 3 weeks. Essentially, like, only trying to fix this mechanical problem, because this is a bad habit that takes some time to be practiced. I'll give you a routine for this.
Open.
Okay.
Nice.
What the fuck is this push, bro? We're playing against the enemies that are eco and hull by right now, and we are pushing this. Bro, on Fracture, if enemies are eco and hull by, abuse the aim in and abuse the arcade area of the map. Why would I be pushing the dish? Like, I need to drop from the dish, then I need to satchel into the site. Like, it is 10 times easier for me in this round to choose this type of a pathing where I can deny the space of the enemies, like with my utility, completely, and clear every single angle instead of pushing through the dish. Like, right now, you know, we can just simply jump spot the enemies here, clear this angle, clear this position, clear this angle, clear this, jump spot the enemies, make sure that we clear this spot here. Now we're pushing to the site. We can send the boombot to clear the backside, something like this. We can do the nade onto the tower and do the double satchels with the boombot into the site. We clear the backside, we clear the tower. The only space where the enemies can be is the stairs with a potential shorty. But they won't kill you if you double satchel, you know, like this. Like, essentially, you know, going from the dish in this round, not really the best idea from your teammates.
Right there.
Condition your allies a bit more in solo queue to push something with you. You know, like, take the spike from them. Tell them, guys, you're not really that smart. You know, enemies are eco and halbay. Why the fuck would I push this or B main? Let's go arcade, let's go this, let's do that. Oh, actually, enemies forced. Okay. Okay. Using that nade there, I would have never used the nade there. Like, essentially, you know, the only time I would use the nade to deny the space of the enemies and to push them back is earlier in the rounds. Like, when we already didn't use any stuns, any flashes, etc., etc. Like, I would have saved this nade for the push. Like, that's a bit of a waste. Or if enemies have an op that might potentially re-peek my teammates and fuck them up, then I'm gonna use the nade. Like, for example, I don't know, we pushed the aim in area of the map, and I jump spotted an enemy jet, you know, did a shot with the op here. I would use a nade so that I can freely push this area of the map, jump spot the enemies again, and then commit to the push. Or maybe, you know, let's push through the sand and fuck her up.
Flash out. Enemy
Is this VOD review? Yeah, yes, sir. This is exactly what I was talking about. Like, pushing in this, like, you know, 5-man push through this. Is that okay idea? Yeah, I mean, it can work. But this type of a push, I'm going to do when everything else is failing. Like, when A main is failing, arcade is failing, B main is failing. Like, nothing worked for us. Okay, I mean, we can try to do some kind of a, you know, 5-man push through this shit, maybe some kind of an eco, hull by round, force by round, like, why not, you know, it can work, you know, like, that's the final sentiment here. But, before you test the enemies in arcade, in A-main, there's no reason to abuse the dish area of the map at all. Like, use the dish more to flank, lurk, split the site, you know. And especially in these lobbies, what is one of the biggest problems on a defender's side in the lobbies below Immortal 1? I don't see players taking the aim and control at all. Like, basically on Fracture, when you're playing on a defender's side, you need to apply some pressure in the aim in. Like, we need to do a smoke, a stun, nade, deny the enemy's push, make them waste some kind of a... make them waste a bit of the time, make them lose a bit of the confidence, or lose some kind of a utility while they're pushing through the aim in area of the map. Like, so majority of the times in these lobbies, like, if you're just prioritizing this and this, you'll win minimum 7 rounds on the attack.
Thank you.
Viper is still on site. Pay attention on the minimap. Pay attention on your surroundings. Like, isn't Viper on site? I mean, she just did a molly.
Flash out. Enemy spotted A.
Aha, that molly came from city. Sorry. My mistake. Sorry, guys, I'm tired. Like, 9 games today, bro. Like, I'm dying.
Thank you.
Bro, Omen smokes. I don't know if he has a Parkinson's disease and he cannot place them correctly, but even if I had Parkinson's, I think I would have done better smokes than this. Like, this is something that you need to correct. You need to tell your Omen, bro, please, you know, it doesn't, like, even if you push the last on the bomb site, make sure that the smokes are precise. Like, basically, you know, smoke here needs to look like this. Smoke on tower needs to look like this. Or like this. Whichever you want. But having a smoke there, that's gonna cost you a lot. Okay. If your teammates are aggressive in the post plant, you should be aggressive as well. But if your teammates die and you're not able to refrag them, reposition yourself. Right now, the best idea would be to go onto the dish, and from dish, try to deny the enemies and kill them. Why the dish? Because you're able to kill the enemies in the sand before, you know, they even peek your teammates. And generally speaking, like, you know, when enemies have a Viper They cannot smoke you out there at all. I don't know what type of a wall they have with the Viper right now, but I would pre-assume they have a wall for the A main area of the map. So if you know, get stuck in the A main, we're kind of cooked there a bit. Use a satchel to reposition. Like right now, I would have went dish immediately. And also, I would have killed that Reyna. That's another benefit.
Player standing.
Bro, that Viper actually hid there. I didn't even see it. What the hell? This round, my friend, is the shenanigan of low elo. Let's move to the next one.
Keep up.
Once again, same problem, same issues, like in every single coaching session. Like guys, I know it's called B main. You know, I know, like, on the minimap there's a B main, but this is not the main area of the map. We cannot consider this a main area of the map. Like, when you're pushing through this area of the map, you're so overexposed, and you cannot cut the angles at all, and essentially isolate different sectors when you're pushing into the site. It is far better fighting for the arcade, tower, and then for the site, than pushing through the B main and praying to God that your teammates are going to follow you in with your satchels, and that, you know, we're going to have a proper smokes, etc, etc. Plus, the Deadlock probably has her setup ready for this push. If Deadlock does the wall, we're absolutely fucked as well. So yeah. Now, when it comes to doing this nade that he did, this is fine, you know, to deny the enemy's push and enemy's peek, but it is much, much better if you tell your Sage to slow orb, or, I don't know, Omen to use a paranoia. Well, I mean, you have a breach in the team. You know, tell your breach to just flash up here, ping him that position, and that's it. I mean, it's much better if you save your nade and your utility to actually push the site. It's okay idea, you know, to deny the enemy's push and peek and to protect your allies, because God knows, you know, this Reyna with the ultimate right now, whether or not she's gonna kill your Jet. But it's better if your breach right now just pop flash there and that's it.
Enemy spotted B.
Also, when you're dropping these nades, like, I mean, pay attention, you know, whether or not you're jumping. Like, if you jump, you know, the nade is not going in a straight line. Like, I've seen this shit from you already 2 times. Like, come on, let's not waste our utility. This is exactly what I'm talking about. What now? You know, our teammate died in the arcade from the Reyna with the ultimate. Our push is slowed down for 10 additional seconds. Deadlock probably has the stuns ready here. How do we expect to push this? You know? Remember, guys, arcade is your best friend. A main is your best friend.
Enemy spotted. Be faster. My ult's ready. Spike area.
Spike down.
Also, I noticed already in the first 4 rounds that your map awareness is not that good, man. Like essentially, when you're playing the game, when you're playing Valorant. So, let me explain you this. Imagine that this is your screen. So we have your screen right here. In Valorant, we have 4 priorities. Actually, 5 priorities. Number 1 priority is whenever some shit happens on the minimap. Like, you see some kind of a utility. Some red sign up there. Check the minimap. No matter if you're holding an angle or not, get that information. It is better to die in the process of repositioning or in the process of getting the information than dying because of luck or because you don't have a proper information for yourself. Whenever somebody dies, this is your second minimap. Like, you want to see who died where and instantly check the minimap as well. Third minimap is the chat. If you have tactical callouts enabled, you know, something pops up in the chat, read, my teammate spotted enemy, I don't know, somewhere, or we saw an enemy through the smokes maybe, because sometimes, like, maybe you're gonna miss an enemy on the minimap, you know, around the smokes, or on your screen. Check the tactical callouts. Fourth focus is, checking the angles and positions to which enemies can peek us at all times. And the fifth focus should be your crosshair placement and where your crosshair is at that moment of time. But in order to do all of this, you need to practice your crosshair placement and your visual intake of information to such a high levels of consistency where you don't even need to look at your crosshair and you know that you have a good crosshair placement for that specific angle and that specific position. So, your eyes are always searching for the enemies on the screen. Some shit happens here, or here, check it.
Down B.
Right now, you know that Reyna is underpass, but you're still thinking that guy is there.
I have the spike.
We could have died here in a horrible way. Good shots. Good shots. Okay. Now, somehow, we are in a 2 versus 2 scenario. On the attacker side, if you are 2v2 or 3v3, fuck lurking, fuck flanking, fuck playing split, some kind of a split. 3-man push towards one objective. If your teammates don't want to listen to you, follow them up. Your Jett is here. She doesn't look like a guy that's going to back off, connect with the Jett, and play on the refrag potential. Simple as that. Like, don't allow this Jett to take any more duels alone. Try to play together. Or tell your Jett, come with me. Jett, come with me. Jett, come with me. And Jett says, shut the fuck up, you noob. I'm not gonna play with you. No problem. Stick to her butthole. Play the refrag game. Stick to her butthole. Now, you see, like she's hungry, man.
Satchel out. Satchel out. There.
Those 2 satchels that you did here like that was... I get the idea. You wanted to connect with your Jett as soon as possible, but I would have saved at least 1 satchel right now so that you can safely cross into the bomb site. I mean, your teammates are pinging you tower. The enemies can be anywhere. Like, having that 1 satchel right now to basically enter the site and plant the spike, kind of a bit of a waste of utility, You're wasting your utility left and right quite a lot, Right now, having this, doing a boom bot, planting the spike, that's your job.
My ult's ready.
Ooh, we need to send boom bot there. Especially because your teammates pinged that position, and Deadlock was playing B earlier on. Like, we need to... Right now,
There.
we're gonna be in a lot of shit. Now, one huge tip when it comes to crosshair placement. If you're doing some kind of a press to hold action, picking up the orb, planting the spike, defusing the spike, picking up the KO, whatever the fuck you're doing, your crosshair should always be placed perfectly at the angle from which enemies can peek you at that moment of time. So right now, if the enemy peeks you from tower, we can cancel the plant and we are immediately ready for the fight. We don't need to do any macro adjustments, micro flicks. Like, we just, you want to aim with your movement and with your crosshair placement, essentially. Like, why is our crosshair here?
Spike plant.
Okay.
One enemy remaining.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Bro, this was such a lucky round, man. This was such a lucky round. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, okay. Timing. Valorant timing,
Shadows traveling.
Okay.
Cover going out. Flash out. Right there. Enemy clearing out.
Okay.
Dead.
There.
Oh, okay, push, okie dokie. Like, I have nothing to say about this. I have really nothing to say about this. Like, it's okay. The only problem here is that, you know, when your breach was going for the flash, I would not pay attention on the doors, but I will still be clearing the angles in the A main. You know, we needed to clear this, and we need to pre-assume that one enemy can be there. Like a lot of the Jet Reyna players, like, I mean, generally a lot of the players, they love to dodge the stun and then play this off angle. And you found yourself in this position where that guy could have seen you. You know, like, even if your teammates are going through the sands and opening the doors, check this, check that. Now, nade the tower. Let's connect with a breach.
Right there. Enemy spearing out.
Okay. Okay, let's push. In the post plans, the number one rule that I give to the players is that you want to play as aggressive as your most aggressive teammate is playing, but don't follow their stupid plays completely. You know, if you have some other way of how you can close out the round or win the round on the spike timer, do that. It's better than fighting the enemies pointlessly. But you know, if your Jet is going for some aggro peaks in the CT, I would definitely support her, but I'm not gonna be the first contact. You know, right here, Jet is here. What I will be doing, I'll be waiting for the Jet's second contact on the wall right here, and then swinging on the Jet contact and taking a kill. Generally speaking, like, you know, these type of plays are absolutely stupid, and they're gonna cost you enormous amount of rounds. Like, right now, you know, I mean, you have a... Basically, you know, Spike is planted for us, like, why do we need to fight CT? Like, what is this search and destroy for the kills, man? Like, when are Valorant players gonna become disciplined? You know, like, you have a numbers advantage, you're 4 versus 2, just win a round. You know, close it out, like, don't complicate it. Oh, we lost this round.
I must stop their Reyna. Grenade!
I don't understand why you're jumping here. Like, just tag the nade. What's the difference between this and this? There's no difference. Like, just tack it from the wall there. That's it. But, once again, it would be 10 times better if your breach is flashing this, and then we're pushing to the site, than if you're wasting our nade for this.
Shadows traveling. Cover going out. Dusted. My ult's ready.
Okay. I need to give you one more tip. If your teammates are splitting the B set on Fracture, and you're playing Duelist, such as Raze, once again, I would recommend you to primarily prioritize the arcade area of the map in these lobbies. Fuck it, man. You know? Like, just take the spike, take the rope, go with your allies there, and support them. Like, your executes are 10 times cleaner and easier from the arcade, especially with Raze, than going into the site with double satchels from the B main area of the map. Prioritize this more, especially when your teammates are doing some kind of a 2-2 split. Go with these guys here and make this number 3, and try to carry the spike and drop it to one of your allies in arcade. Here, once again, you should have paid a bit more attention on your minimap. Like, I mean, if you already have 2 teammates there, like, this is another problem of players like that are playing Fracture. If you have 2 teammates in arcade area of the map that already took the control of the box right here, and they're already applying the pressure onto the enemies on tower and site, that is a good moment of time for you to execute the site. You know, like right now, I will not be going down under. I will just be tacking my nade at the backside, doing the boombot for the canteen or for the site, and then double satcheling with the ultimate. Trying to find a kill, taking the tower control, taking the side, that's it.
My ult's ready.
I mean, that was a bit of a waste, you know. You got jabaited by the Reyna. I feel the only thing that you're doing wrong with Raze, you're wasting utility left and right. You know, like, basically, you need to pay more attention on when to use a certain utility.
Get out of here. Your duty is not.
Last player standing.
Yikes.
Spike down B.
Nice try, Sage.
Now, in this 1v2, I will try to play with the enemy's mind a bit more. Like right now, I would actually go into the B main area of the map and try to basically push the B set to B main. Because enemies saw you in the arcade, and I don't know, like, you know, right now, 2 enemies can be looking at your face in the arcade area of the map. Yeah, they're both here. I mean, if I heard both enemies here, fuck it. You know, double satchel, let's go on to the A set rotate. We're wasting our time here, like, fuck it, you know, like, in this scenario, if you already know that 2 enemies are on site, send it A. If I was in a 1 versus 1, maybe I would actually push the B set again. To try to, you know, like, outsmart the enemy. But since you heard, like, 2 enemies here, a better decision is just to rotate to A and play the spike on A.
30 seconds left.
But maybe the bait is working, huh? Ooh. 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 But still, this doesn't mean that much because one guy can still be on site. And if Viper is there, and if any of these guys is there, they can deny their his plan by Molotov's nade and Raze ultimate.
One enemy remaining.
Wait for me.
10 seconds left.
my guy sold the soul to the devil to have the best Valorant timings ever. One thing that you need to master with the Raze is definitely like the zones of the satchels, like to maximize your speed. Like basically, I mean, you know, a lot of the guys have already explained this, but whatever. Like, you know, the Raze satchels have 3 zones: Zone 1, Zone 2, and Zone 3. Like, if I'm repositioning myself, and my goal is to reposition myself as fast as possible, or push straight forward into the bomb site, or to maximize my speed, we need to hit the Zone 3, essentially. And Zone 3 is exactly this. So basically, when the satchel explodes, this is the Zone 3. So you need to develop a bit better timing for this type of a shit. Like, when I deploy a satchel below me, usually you can make like 1 or 2 footsteps. So 1 or 2 footsteps, jump, send it. One or 2 footsteps, 1, 2, bam. So just listen to the sound of the footsteps. Like 1, 2, and then the second one. Because, you know, you're not maximizing your speed, and enemies might catch you in this process of repositioning, and it is very, very slow, you know, movement to reposition from here to here. Like, this is how this should basically look like for you. This is a time for the boombot, huh?
Bomb buddy out.
Okay. Once again, stop wasting your utility. Like, for example, so right now, we are in a 1 versus 1 post plant. Spike is planted. Viper didn't tap the spike. I would not have done my boombot to reveal the Viper, but I would have used my boombot as a pressure-making tool to peek the Viper. Like, peeking of the content of Raze utility, such as nade, satchel, and boombot, is one of the main powers of playing Raze. Like here, if I'm 1 versus 1, I'll be holding this angle, you know, waiting for her to tap the spike, occasionally checking my back, checking this, checking my ass, etc, etc. She taps the spike. I'm sending the bot. She's destroying the bot. GG.
Here comes the party. My ult's ready.
Okay, it's GG anyways.
Cover going out. Trevor!
Reload.
Blinding!
What? Okay, we destroyed the Boomba there.
Blinding!
But now, when this guy started going in, go in with him. The nade is all the way there. You need to, like, basically, you know, on the attacker side, especially when you're playing duelists, if you have some teammate that is more aggressive than you, follow that teammate up. Like, I would like to have a teammate like Breach. He's maybe not the brightest, maybe not the best tool in the shed, but he's the best that I got, you know? Like, right now, okay, nade is there. Let's move in, let's move in. Breach is alone.
Grenade.
Okay. Yo, man, these smokes are terrible, bro. Like, these smokes are... Holy mac and cheese, bro.
Get him.
Nice boombot. Okay, and what do we do now? We reposition. Use double satchels into the A main. Get the fuck out of this spot.
One drop.
Or just take a kill.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
That was a bit risky, you know, like, you didn't know if another enemy was there, waiting for you. You know that Viper is CT. You know that Reyna and Gecko love to play Dish a lot. Like, that was a bit of a suicide. Like, here, especially after this kill, you know, the main thing that you should have done is just go into A main. Fuck it, like, you know, like, reposition, get a better spot, do this, check that angle. That's it. Like, why would you go onto tower being fully overexposed from enormous amount of different angles when your teammates have the wall down there? Like, basically, you know, if my teammates have walled off something, they're tucked into the site. Enemies should be hyper focused on you down there. I mean, any enemy with some brain cells should do that.
Satchel out.
And you see, do you see what you're doing here? You're creating this AB pattern of pushing. Like, if I was playing against you right now, I would just be positioning myself AB. Like, one round you go A, other round you go B, A, B. Like, why? A side worked for us. Well, that round on A was so easy. We took the bomb site for free. Enemies are not even fighting for the A main area of the map, which is a crucial mistake when you're playing the defender side of Fracture. If you notice, guys, that enemies are not fighting for the control of sands, control of the A main area, send it A 24/7 instead of risking your rounds pushing B side to the B main area of the map.
Grenade.
Chill a bit with utility, you know, like try to do your utility as you're getting ready to execute a site. Like, what is this? Right now, that nade would have been very useful for us to actually clear the backside, pressure the enemies at the generator or tower, anywhere basically.
Reloading.
Actually going, baby.
Reloading.
Actually going, baby.
Okay. So, what is the biggest takeaway from this round? The biggest takeaway is Arcade is your main area of the map. I don't want to repeat myself anymore. Literally, just think about it. You know, take the spike, send it to arcade, tell 2 or 3 of your teammates to follow you. It is better than pushing through this shit.
Don't.
But another takeaway of this round is, if one bomb site is already working for you, and enemies are very bad on that site, defending it, or they're not defending the choke points at all, send it there. Go A 25 rounds in a row. The thing is, it is easy to go pro in this game. Just take some time. Valorant is definitely currently one of the easiest games where you can play at the high levels and become a professional player. Every other game is so developed, and essentially it's really hard to get into the space. Like CS2 and CSGO, if you want to be a pro there, it's borderline impossible. Like, you need to be very exceptional player, or lucky, essentially. Like, or you need to invest enormous amount of days, hours, and years. League of Legends, even worse. Valorant is like still fresh. It's only been 3.5 years, you know, like, and essentially, this game is maybe the easiest game to grind in general.
Thanks. Gone here.
Concussing. Done here.
Okay, guys, just you know, one more note here is try to avoid A/B patterns of pushing. Like, it is very easy for the enemies to predict where you're gonna go and what you're gonna do. Like, once you find some kind of a gap in the enemy's team composition, like certain area of the map that the enemies don't know how to defend, or they're not properly defending, abuse that gap as much as possible. As long as the enemies don't adapt to your style of pushing and your playstyle. It is stupid to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because then it is for me, it is very easy to read you. Like, when I'm playing Unranked to Immortal, and I'm playing in Diamond lobbies, Platinum lobbies, Ascendant lobbies, Immortal lobbies, like, players are, you know, you can read them like a book, basically. Based on their pattern of pushing, based on their economy, or the ultimate status. Try to be more unpredictable. And avoid creating some patterns, essentially.
Welcome to my world.
Grenade! Precision kill. Healing you.
I would highly advise you to not do this shit. Listen, if you didn't clear the whole site, if your teammates didn't plant the spike, don't take additional space for your team. Right now, the enemy Viper has the ultimate on the A site. Your Boombot and your ultimate is a very great tool for us to clear the site and to take the site control. Only God knows right now whether or not your teammates are going to be able to find the Viper and survive. Maybe Viper is going to kill them with a judge. 3 of them, 4 of them. You're going to be 1 versus 3. Maybe you're going to die tower, and your teammates are going to die from the Viper on site. Like, your primary focus is taking space, making sure that your teammates are well and alive, planting the spike, and then take some additional space or pressure the enemies or do whatever the fuck you want to do. But in these lobbies, in Platinum, Gold, Diamond, it is far better to just focus on the site control, making sure that your teammates are alive and you can play the postman with them, than going for these pointless, you know, aggressions.
Precision kill. Healing you.
1 enemy remaining.
Okay.
Out.
Yes, sir! Arcade coming. Crosshair placement. I have given you 10 negative points for the crosshair placement. That is another thing that we need to focus with some kind of a training. Basically, whoever gets a tier 3 Discord sub, I usually give him some of my pre-recorded and pre-made training routines. So I'm gonna give you one of the routines that is gonna focus all of the mechanical issues that we have here.
One sauce.
Okay. Let me explain you a few things. So first of all, if you're pushing something on the contact, you cannot drive around the corners like a maniac and do something like this. You're a very easy target for the charlatan that is playing a pixel angle operator that's gonna destroy you. Clear the angles, you know, jiggle peek them. In, out. In, out. In, out. Even if your teammates are not doing that, do it yourself. In, out. In, out. Now, crosshair placement up there. Now, moving in, out, you know, like, let's go. Let's cut the pie properly.
One sauce.
Bro, like whenever you take a fight, I feel that your heart rate goes up by 50%. Like every single fight that you take, I feel it is such a panic mode where you're not even thinking about your aim or your mechanical skill. You need to calm down a bit more during the fights. Like you instantly crouch, you go instantly for some random spray, like however the fuck you wanna do it, and most of the times it's not a good idea, you know, like what you're doing. You need to take these fights a bit more composed, you know, like chill a bit, like think how you wanna fight that specific enemy. Do you think it is better to use Aimlabs or Kovacs, or does it not matter? Kovacs is slightly better by a margin. You know, like it has better tasks, better adjustability, better training routines overall. I like Kovacs more, but Aimlabs is also fine. Like literally, any aim software these days is like okay. Classic Charlatan ultimate. Okay, when you're doing the satchels here, so this is what you did. You did a ultimate satchel. That's your satcheling. That's how you did this play. So let me explain. If you're pushing a choke point where you just want to go on the same horizontal line, we want to maximize our speed and pull out time and animation of the ultimate. So what do I mean by that? So essentially, once again, we want to hit the red zone. This is the red zone. So drop the satchel right below you. First satchel. Make 2 footsteps. 1, 2. And you're gonna reach the red zone. That is gonna send you furthest away. Now, once you deploy the first satchel and you go into the air, pull out the ultimate and do the second satchel below you to cancel the ultimate animation. I mean, this is a general game knowledge and something that every single Raze player needs to master. Like, this took me like 3 days to actually learn. You know, like around 1 hour in a custom server. So this play, this is what you should do. That's it essentially. I don't think he's a Raze main. He has around like 22 games on Raze, like even more I think. Like this actually has been grinding Raze quite a lot. So animation canceling with ultimate is very important because when I started doing the Unranked to Immortal series, I didn't know how to do this shit. And I was dying a lot of the times because I did this, like I did a satchel, this, and then a second satchel or some shit like that. Like basically I was not canceling animation with a satchel. And of course, like, you know, this is something that happens for me as well. Like, in the early stages of my gameplay with Raze, I was consistently aiming at the enemy's body with the ultimate. And, you know, this is a habit that you want to teach yourself in a longer run. Like basically, with the Raze ultimate, you really need to be more focused on the ground than focus on the enemy body. Like, I mean, literally, you know, it's a rocket. It's not a machine gun, you know.
I'm stunning for you. Raze, I'm stunning.
Spike down B.
But also we made another mistake, small mistake here. After taking this kill on the Reyna, and after denying the space of the Viper, I would never push the CT here. And the main reason for that is we are reading the enemies. What can we read from the previous rounds that we played? We can read that enemies are playing 3 players on B side, 2 players on A side. So, by denying the space of this guy and killing this guy, there is one guy alive somewhere on the side. Like, I would always focus myself in the lobbies below Immortal 3, Immortal 1, on the bomb site control, planting the spike, and making sure that my dumb teammates don't die in some kind of a stupid way, then focusing on getting the kills and pressuring the enemies in the CT. I feel that you're much more focused on pressuring this area of the map and denying this space for the enemies, instead of focusing yourself more on the actual bomb sites and taking the space here and making sure that your teammates are living a happy life. Like here, you know, instead of doing what you did, I would have actually killed this guy and instantly focused on the site.
Grenade!
Last player standing.
Okay. In this type of situations, and I just need to make a quick digression here. If you're 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, 1 versus 5, and you have a lot of the time to take the spike and to plant the spike, enemies are gonna push you. Players in Valorant are very undisciplined. They're hunting the kills, hunting the frags. Right now, you know, if you just chill here for maybe, I don't know, 20 seconds, someone is gonna peek you, someone is gonna push you. Like, it is much easier for you right now to, you know, try to win the round with a potential undisciplined play by the enemies than trying to swing here and get in a crossfire. Like, usually, you know, in these clutch scenarios, by just not doing anything, you might win a round. Because players in solo queue are so undisciplined, extremely undisciplined. Like, I feel that 90% of Valorant community doesn't see the game in the way that I see it. And 90% of Valorant community, like, is just so focused on the kills, on the blood, on taking the frags, and that loses them enormous amount of rounds. I feel that 50% of times, if you just wait for the enemies to make some kind of a mistake, you have higher chances of winning that round than going for some kind of a play. And that is especially in a 1 versus 1 scenarios. Like, you will see a lot of times, like, I don't know, a spike is planted, you know, and basically, like, you will see that when I'm going for the retakes, a lot of times I just wait for the enemy to outmaneuver himself than me making some kind of a play. Like, you will see me, like, you know, hold some kind of an angle, which I think that enemy is gonna push for, like, maybe 15 or 20 seconds. If I have 40 seconds to defuse the spike. Like, abusing the undisciplined behavior from the players in solo queue is something that players should do a bit more. You know, chill here. Wait 20 seconds. You have 50 seconds. You have 1 minute on the clock. Just 20 seconds. Hold this angle. Aha. Reyna peeks me on the left. Take that kill. Now, let's chill again. You know, let's see now if the enemies are there, etc., etc.
Breeze.
Okay.
The hunt begins.
Oof. One thing that I really dislike in your gameplay is how you're driving around the corners when you're playing on the contact. When you're playing silent on the contact, you cannot do this. Like, you're such an easy target for the enemies, and your crosshair is not ready for the enemies, you're dead. Most of the times in the high-low lobbies. So basically, you know, pull yourself away from the wall as much as possible to deny the enemy's angle perception advantage. Jiggle peek. Jiggle peek. Jiggle peek. Jiggle peek. Jiggle peek. Moving forward. Place your crosshair where you think the enemies are. Clearing that position. Jiggle peek. Take your time. You know, it is better to take your time and clear everything perfectly than dying from some operator or some kind of a stupid way because your crosshair and you are not ready for the fight.
Can you need something?
Clear, right? No, bro, I called it. I called it. Fuck. Whenever, like, you know, you're pushing in first, or you're threading in an unknown territory where enemy gorillas can be anywhere, clear every single angle possible. Like, something that happened in my Radiant. So I was playing a Radiant match, a Radiant game. Two of my teammates were in front of me. Two of my teammates were in front of me and pushed like this. They pushing. Jet executed the site. I'm the third guy coming through this area of the map. Enemy Raze, been chilling there. Papito, ready with a gun. Bam, I win the round. You know? Like, always, like, even if your teammates are pushing in front of you, clear every single possible angle where the enemies might be at that moment of time. And especially if you're treading through some unknown territory where enemies can be anywhere, and especially if you're going in first. So, you know, these type of mistakes should never happen for you. Like, this is really a mistake that should be, like, you know, it can be completely removed from your gameplay.
One.
And I really feel that your raw mechanical skill is not bad. Now, what I mean by raw mechanical skill, I feel that your reaction time is quite okay. Actually, really good for a platinum player. Raw reaction time and reflexes. Like, I'm not talking about the precision. But also precision is okay. But I feel that your biggest nemesis right now, when it comes to your mechanical skill, is overcrouching, movement, and basically spraying too much and micro corrections. So essentially, like, I'm gonna give you some private training routine to fix all of these problems, and I highly recommend you to stick to this routine for at least like 2 or 3 months after I send you.
Enemy.
By the way, guys, you know, I coached already 3,500 players in Valorant, and I have like 100 plus pre-made aim trainings, training routines. You know, like, I'm just at this point, I'm just sharing pre-made stuff with the players, like, depending what player is missing at that moment of time.
Remaining.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's push A again. Good idea.
Shadows traveling. Shadows traveling.
Okay. Once again, like, I will still clear the angles that my teammates didn't clear. Basically, I do understand that, you know, this is a team play game and you need to have some trust in your allies. But let's be honest, like, we're playing in gold and platinum elo. A lot of the players are playing on the autopilot mode. They don't give a shit. You know, like they let's be honest, like 50% of Valorant players simply don't give a shit. Like, their mentality is already so broken. They spend 200 hours being Hearthstone, Gold, Immortal, Platinum, like, in one act. And you need to be the guy that is giving the shit if you truly want to improve. Like, I smell the potential in your gameplay. You know, like in your raw mechanical skill, in the way that you're moving, in the way that you're taking in the space. But, you know, these micro mistakes that you're making can cost you a lot. Like, when it comes to wasting your utility usage left and right, not keeping the proper distance with your allies, not clearing the angles, that, like, try to compensate all of the bullshit that is happening, like, in the ranked solo queue with your better gameplay, essentially. I mean, look at this. How is this possible? Look at the minimap. Let's look at the minimap. So, Jett is pushing in. Omen teleported on the site. Nobody cleared the site. Nobody cleared the bottom site. His teammates are already focused on the CT. Gecko is being chilling there. My dude is playing with a butterfly knife. Gecko taking a kill there. That's why I'm telling you, you know, like, you need to behave towards your teammates like, you know, I still want to play a team play game. I still want to play on the refrag potential. I still want to, you know, like, support them. I don't want to play I mean, carrying solo matches like 24/7 is borderline impossible. Like, you know, especially when you're a player that is trying to improve, an average player. But essentially, like, you know, you need to compensate their mistakes. You need to play the game with a pre-assumption that your teammates are stupid, that they are not going to clear all of the angles and all of the positions. And, you know, it is what it is.
Stand down.
Okay. 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 Overall, on the attacker's half, like, my final statement when it comes to your problems and what you need to improve is, first of all, stop wasting utility where you don't need to do it. Second of all, try to focus more on better satchels. Try to practice satchels and essentially, like, try to take better space for yourself and for your teammates with your utility. Focus on the Raze utility more as a pressure-making tool and to reveal the enemies. Pay attention on your crosshair placement and clearing the angles properly, and applying the proper movement to cut the angles and, you know, do all of that stuff. Now, the next thing is, like, use your utility more to play on the contact of your utility. Like, you know, in that scenario when you were 1 versus 1 against Viper, it would have been better, like, if you waited for her to tap the spike and then, you know, send the boombot and peek off the boombot, then, you know, using the boombot as a recon tool, and then, you know, then you need to take a 50-50 1 versus 1 fight against the Viper. And when it comes to mechanical mistakes, like, I'll try to give you some routine for this problem, and we'll see how much you're going to improve in a longer run. Now, we have another mistake here. I mean, I don't know if people in gold are going to listen to this, but I'm just going to explain it. So on this map, B set is your quote-unquote default site. So B set on both attackers and defenders side is a bit easier to be played in the post plant, harder for the retake. It is easier to push B through the arcade than pushing the A set through the dish and A main area of the map. Now, that simply means that whenever you have no idea where the enemies are going to go next, or what the fuck you want to do, play B. Now, in the first round, on a defender side of Fracture, it is stupid to play passively, because your teammates can die in so many different choke points, and especially in Gold and Platinum, you cannot trust your teammates to control a specific area of the map passively. So basically, in the first round of Fracture, I would always recommend you to put 2 teammates on the B side, 1 teammate in the A main area of the map or on the A side, and tell one of your guys to push together the dish area of the map. So what you want to do in the first round, you want to go for the slow contact push, and you want to complete this pathing. Ba ba ba, ba ba ba, ba ba ba, ba ba ba. That's it. Now, so maybe in this game, you can tell your Jet, bro, let's push slow on the contact dish area of the map. So you and Jet are pushing the dish. In the first round on the defender side, when you're doing this strategy, you can basically like you can ask you can basically buy a sheriff, you can buy a ghost with a boombot, you can buy a classic pistol light shield with a boombot and satchel. It's really up to you. Like usually I go with a sheriff and nade. I don't know, like on a defender side, like I never felt any need for the boombot or for the satchels. Like you know, majority of fights that I take are kind of clean fights. Now, what is the point of this push? If the enemies are doing some kind of a split from A main and dish, they're never going to, like, this guy here is never going to expect two of you guys pushing in the first round. So, if you get a contact here with one enemy, majority of times you will kill that enemy, and then you can simply reposition with the numbers advantage back onto the bomb site. So if you get a contact here, always go back or try to rush that guy, kill him, and then put the full focus onto the site. Now, what if you don't see anyone there and enemies are pushing A site? If the enemies are pushing A site, so this teammate on the site tells you that the enemies are committing to the A main push, simply clear this area of the map fast, you know, run for it, like make sure that nobody's there, and then focus back onto the A site. Now, what if we don't hear enemies here, we don't see any enemies there? Complete this pathing. Go slowly here. From this location to this location you can run. From this location go for the slow push and backstab the enemies. The main point of this is that you have a very high kill potential in the dish area of the map together with your teammate. Second point is, if you complete this pathing, you're on such a fast flank that enemies will never expect two of you guys being in the arcade in such a fast period of time. And you might backstab the enemies like this, especially if your teammates on the B side are delaying their push. Now, what if the enemies didn't push B? What if the enemies play the contact push on A? No problem. If you don't see any enemies here, you eliminated this whole area of the map where the enemies can be, so the enemies can only be chilling in the B main or A main area of the map. So our teammates don't need to focus on the dish and arcade. And in that case scenario, you can just rotate fast onto the tower and play the A site. So that is how you want to play the first round on Fracture.
That Raze sucks.
Cover going out. Reloading. Enemy spotted B.
Grenade!
I would actually recommend you, like, how much is the boombot? I forgot. Like, am I tripping here? How much is the boombot? Is it 200 or 250? Oh, boombot is 300. Fuck me in the ass, bro. Ah, yeah, if you're going classic pistol light shield, then yeah, two satchels, I guess. I'm tripping. For some reason, I thought like boombot is 200. Like, okay,
Your fault.
okay, okay. Clear the right angle. One enemy can be on right.
Spike down, B.
Okay, we checked it.
One enemy remaining.
Okay.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
Okay, I know that we will win this round, but my man just wasted 400 credits for a styled points. Guys, in the first 3 rounds, you really need to focus on building a proper economy for yourself and for your team. Like, essentially, Why do we throw 400 credits into the sewers?
Flawless.
I mean, we are 5 versus 1. Your teammates are not gonna die. I mean, even if they die enough, you're gonna clutch the round, like, whatever. Okay, on Fracture, like, in these lobbies, I would always pre-assume, you know, like, in these lobbies we can apply the rule of fear and ABAB rule. Rule of fear simply means that players in solo queue are very afraid to repeat their mistakes from the previous rounds. So if you demolish the enemy's push or strategy in the previous round, you can expect something different from the enemies in the future round. So for an example, like Voodoo, thank you all for the raid of 61 players. Tricksters, thank you, man. Like, we're doing a VOD review right now. I need to focus. So essentially, in solo queue, the number 2 rules that you want to apply is the rule ABAB rule and the rule of fear. So essentially, players in solo queue really like to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if they push B in one round, in the other round they push A, you can already pre-assume that in the third round they're gonna push the B side or something like that. Rule of fear, I already explained. Like, basically, right now you demolished the enemy's push on the B side. So chances are really, really high that enemies are going to push onto the A side. So your game decision to play the A side right now, good. Now in the second round with Raze on Fracture, I mean, you can go with a Judge, you can go with a Bulldog, you can go with a Marshall, you can go with a Stinger, with a Spectre. Personally, my preference on Fracture is like Stinger and Shorty, with a heavy shield and utility, but I mean, it's really up to you.
Good work. There. Don't screw it up.
You're still online, bro. Like 9 hours, man. 9 hours stream.
I'm flashing. I'm stunning into.
Ooh. One thing that you really need to stop doing with the grenades is jumping. Like, am I missing something here, guys? Like, does jump make it? Just a second. So, I don't know, why would you jump here, like, to throw the nade? Because a few times when you were jumping and throwing the nade in the choke points, you literally miss them and they, you know, you hurt yourself and your team. Just do a normal throw, like, if you already want to deny the space somewhere, and take the space for your teammates. Like, I don't know why you're jumping so much with the nades.
My ult's ready.
Jump sometimes make it go further. That's why I jump. I know, like, jump does make it go further. But for these type of positions, you don't need to jump. It makes the nade land instead of bouncing. What? Bro, am I... What do you mean by that? Okay. Okay. Now listen. Going for this lurk and flank would be fine if you didn't have a Judge. Like, only because you have a Judge, like, I don't know what's gonna happen right now. Like, if you had any other weapon, this would be absolutely fine. But with a Judge, this is gonna be hell of a time, man.
Thank you, Omen, for supporting.
Sheesh! Now, after taking those 2 kills, we're going to reposition with the satchels, like a normal human beings, and surprise the enemies with the Judge, right? Like right now, you know, he is thinking, he's being a smart player, and after these 2 kills, he is going to, instead of using the nade, he's going to use a blast pack to go here, reposition, stay alive, and surprise the enemies with the Judge here, right? Absolutely, he's gonna do that. Come on, man. Right?
Grenade!
Or we can stay here as well.
Satchel out.
I mean, yeah, this can work, but you're quite literally picking 3 players, you know, I don't know. I would have just waited for enemies here. Like you have a judgment, like any enemies saw. Like this is another thing that I do a lot in my solo queue matches. Like this is another reason why I play shorty as a primary secondary weapon. So basically, you condition the enemies and make them think that you can play only one specific playstyle. Like for example, you know, when I'm playing Jet and I pick the enemies with the operator here, I take a kill, I use a smoke there. If I have dash available and I hear that enemy Raze is maybe double satchelating or the Jet dashed into me, I can simply pull out the shorty, delete the Jet, go back. Like essentially, the weapons that you're using condition the enemies to think that you cannot fight specific fights or that, you know, like you're in some kind of a disadvantage. I mean here, if you already take, you know, 2 kills with a ghost, these enemies are gonna rush you 100%. Because they have the mindset, this guy only has a ghost, let's just fuck him up, you know. But just, you know, stand here, wait for the enemies, ba 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 ba. Or, you know, kill them as they are pushing.
One enemy remaining.
This can also work.
Spike down B.
Okay.
It's A, main.
One thing that I need to recommend you is like try to make your minimap a bit smaller. Like this minimap is losing you a lot of information. Like right now you don't know what the fuck is happening on the A side. Like you see my minimap. Like basically I also have the rotating minimap, but essentially, you know, I see much more than what you see. Like I see if the enemies can be in the sand, if enemies can be here. Like you need to make your minimap a bit smaller. Like if you already want to use the rotating minimap that is centered onto the player. Like you're losing an enormous amount of info here in a very crucial areas of the map.
Here comes the party. My ult's ready.
And let's be honest, communication is not really the strongest asset of players in ranked solo queue, especially in Europe.
3 main, no one drop.
But to be honest, these guys are giving more comms than my Radiant teammates.
Thank you.
Grenade! Enemy spotted A.
Sage Uwu.
Bro, like Sage is literally playing on speakers. When I made my minimap smaller, I actually started playing better and getting better timings. Like, you're not gonna start playing better because you make your minimap smaller, but you cannot lose this much information. Like, I mean, right now he doesn't see how many enemies are on A site. He doesn't see what the fuck his Omen is doing, you know, like. Rank of the player, Platinum 1. And by the way, I didn't comment this play. Like this repositioning and push back onto the B site was a good game decision. Like you know, in the lobbies below Immortal 1, when you stop the enemy's push like this, like they did, majority of the time they're just gonna rotate. Like very rarely I see in the lobbies below Immortal 1 that players cut the noise and they re-hit the site. That happens maybe like 20% of times. So I gamble here to go back onto the B site was good. The only thing that I would have done better here is I would not position myself like he did. Because he doesn't have information if all 3 enemies are here. Maybe one enemy could have been Arcade, you know, or on tower. And I would have positioned myself in a bit different way. Like here, when he was CT, I would have actually done a satchel from CT into the Arcade, and I would have actually went onto the tower fast to basically take this position. Anyways, I highly doubt that these enemies will be, you know, aware of your positioning and that, you know, they're gonna be aware that you're already on tower.
One enemy remaining.
Let's not hunt the pointless kills, you know, like, let's focus on the proper economy, man. If we stay alive, we pick up the gun, we are good for the next 4 rounds. We can lose the next 3 rounds, actually, and still have money to buy. No need to swing, like, focus more on saving, on building the proper economy for yourself and your teammates. I can definitely see how this can be a problem in the future matches of yours. Like, you will see that I'm really, really focused on winning these anti-eco rounds, making sure that I save the weapon for the bonus round, making sure that I stay alive and I build a proper economy for my whole team. Like, no need to go for this peak. Especially not with a judge. Plus, to be honest, in these lobbies, like, if you die, only God knows if your teammates will be able to win that round. Yo, good morning, Shazam, bro! One thing that I don't like is that you're choosing tower as your starting position on the B side. I mean, on the B side, there's so many good off angles and so many better spots that you can take to start your rounds than tower. And now, tower should maybe be like,
Leave the fireworks to me.
tower should maybe be your last position to play. You know, like, if you're holding the arcade, you know, you can hold it from this position here, wait for the enemies, maybe try to get a kill with this narrow angle, blah blah blah. Reposition, you know, take another kill. You get the point. Like, you can play there, you can ask one of your teammates to boost you on this spot, hold this spot, pressure the enemies. Like, by the way, immediately start on the tower. Like, tower is maybe the worst spot where you can actually start. I mean, enemies can just stun you, flash you, push in. Like, it's better for you to start maybe like this than starting on the tower.
My ult's ready.
Especially playing tower like this is very dangerous. Like, right now, enemies can go underpass, and because of the peekers, because of the angle perception advantage, they're gonna see you faster than you see them. And enemies can peek you here, where you don't see them because of the ADS from different verticalities. Like, why would I risk some shit like that?
Cover going
My
out.
ult's ready.
When it comes to your utility usage, another thing that I've noticed you suck at, and something that you need to practice in team deathmatch or in a custom server, is jiggle peek utility throw. Like this, you need to master the timing for this type of shit, especially with the Raze. Like, you know, denying the space for the enemies, using a recon tool so your teammates can push in, or, I mean, a 1 versus 1 fight against the enemy Jett that is here.
Satchel out.
Easy kill.
Satchel out.
You get the point. And one more thing that I didn't see you actually use that much are the Ferrari swings with a satchel. You know, there's like 3 or 4 moments of time. Like, is it better to jump peek with utility? Depends on a scenario. Like, you don't need to always jump peek. You know, sometimes it's okay to just jiggle throw it, etc, etc. It depends on, you know, which area of the map you're peeking. Now, one thing that I definitely didn't see you use that much, like, is the Ferrari swings, you know, with a satchel. Like, this can definitely throw off the enemy's crosshair placement in these lobbies quite a lot. Like, I highly doubt that Platinum, Diamond, and Ascendant players... I mean, I did an unranked Immortal series with Raze recently, and players just lose the focus of tracking quite a lot. And also, like, in Valorant, I feel that a very small portion of players is focused on practicing the tracking mechanic. Like, everyone is focused on, you know, one tapping, flicking, etc, etc.
Satchel out. Here comes them. Bomb buddy out.
What? Enemy Boomot went to sleep?
Wall 100 on Viper and 100 on Dipper.
Woo! Ready.
Clean shots, like it. Like it. It's very unfortunate that we don't hear his comms in this VOD. Like, it got muted for some reason. Okay, 3 versus 2 scenario. What do? We don't play alone. We don't hunt the kills. We prioritize our teammate that has the highest chances of dying. And who is that teammate right now? We don't know. So right now, whoever you choose to play with, good job. But allowing these teammates to take individual fights, the worst thing you can do.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
You don't need to peek this. You can wait for the sky to drop down. Hold the aim in. I mean, Gecko.
Spike is here.
Is he even gonna try?
For you.
Okay, good awareness. Good awareness. I mean, if he didn't push that long for the spike, very good awareness. We've already discussed like some of his mechanical problems. I'm gonna give him a training for all of this. Like in 3 months, you won't see any of this shit. Literally, if you commit to the training.
Something dropped.
Grenade!
Brother, mother, father, like, can we stop wasting our utility? Like, what was that nade? Enemies just killed one of your teammates on A, and we wasted our nade. That can be very, very useful for the retake of the bomb site. I mean, the only 2 nades that I would do on Fracture is if I'm pushing the B main area of the map, I will do this to basically deny the space of the enemies and try to kill them. Or maybe some kind of a nade like this, and then pushing with the nade and, you know, applying the pressure onto the enemies. Or the nade in the A main area of the map to deny the space and to take the full aim in control. But doing this nade and this nade here, like, what? Why?
They're going zipline. They go zipline. One sent.
One enemy remaining.
Okay. Like basically, you know what you need to learn a bit more with the Raze, with the Raze. Like essentially, using your utility as a follow-up to take the space and to take the fights. Like, you know, using your boombot to actually fight the enemies, using your satchels to peek the enemies, using your nade to actually take some meaningful space and, you know, fight the enemies. Like, not just throwing randomly. Utility left and right.
The hunt begins.
Holding this angle is very dangerous, in my opinion. Statically. Like, this position, I don't know, you need to hold by jiggle peeking it. Like, this angle, if you hold statically, enemies can peek you from so many different vertical and horizontal positions. And essentially, like, I cannot recommend you to do this. If you already want to hold arcade area of the map statically, like without moving at all, you need to hold this angle here. And that's it. So we eliminate this verticality, this horizontality, and even if the enemies peek us like this, or from this position, we're ready for a fight. But, you know, when you hold this, gun is blocking your vision down here, so if enemy went for some kind of a push like this, you're dead. Plus, the enemies here can peek you, you know, in 2-3 different ways. Oh, I died. They can peek you, you know, like this, for an example. You're not ready for a fight. Like, if you already want to hold the arcade from the tower, you need to move in and out, 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 in and out. Checking left, right, left, right. Check Discord when you're free to see the most goated Valorant posture. Let me check it. Just a second. What is this, bro? Just a second, just a second. Is the guy really playing the game like this? Wait, what the fuck? What's happening here, bro? The guy has a god posture, man. Like, is his monitor... What the fuck? Bro, this is crazy, man. Is the monitor that low? From Zeta? Zeta 10? Bro, if I was playing video games like this, my back and my head would hurt a lot, man. Like, if I played video games for 27 years like this, right now I would be like a... I don't know, man. Like you will find me in some kind of snacks. What is this, bro? The guy is turning into a gorilla. Someone tell him this is bad, bro. Bro, like, my neck already hurts just from watching this, literally. Like what is this, man? This guy, in 15 years from now, he is gonna have some serious problems, man. Serious problems. Holy crap, bro. But it works for his aim, you know. Mechanical skill, rank is more important than health. Think about it. Think about it. You need to get better with this mechanic! You know, make sure that the cross... Like, essentially, you know, this is like dead zoning with utility. You know, there is a wind up time for utility. Make sure that your crosshair... Make sure that your crosshair sees the angle where you're throwing the utility. Bam. So basically, when you want to throw the utility with a jiggle peak, it's same as dead zoning, essentially. You know, crosshair is out, you're pressing the... We're pressing the D key. At the moment of time when I'm pressing the A key, I'm dropping the nade. D, A, bam. D, A, bam. D, A, bam. He's angry, bro. He's angry. Here, I don't know, like, he got a bit tilted, man, because of that nade. Like, my dude just swung this angle like a maniac, bro. Definitely, you know, like, one bad habit that you really need to focus on is overcrouching. Like, I need to prescribe you, Dr. Charlatan needs to prescribe you 3 weeks of playing deathmatch and TDM with your crouch button assigned to your knife or to your jump. We want to punish your brain and to punish you a bit more for crouching. I would even play ranked matches with that type of a setup. Fuck it, you know, like, let's fix that habit with a negative like impact on the brain. Like, this is really fucking you up quite a lot. Like, a lot of the fights that you take them like a really like a gorilla, you know, like, you're instantly like not giving a shit about your shots or how you move or how you take a fight. Overall, I really feel that Raze is okay for you. I really feel that Raze will carry you to Immortal 1 without any problems. But you need to focus on all of the issues that we've discussed today. And I heavily recommend you to stick to the training routine that I'm gonna send you right now on the Discord. That training routine is designed for the players that have the problems exactly that you have. And for 3 months, just stick to that training. Like, if you just stick to the training without any other practice or practicing your utility usage in the way that we've discussed today, you'll already be like diamond minimum, like, basically. So yeah, 3 weeks of crouch biotics. That's a good one. I'm stealing it. That's called jiggle throwing, right? Like, you throw send utility while jiggle picking. Yeah, it's a jiggle throw, like whatever, strafe throw, like, yeah. Call it however you want, like, but this is something that you really need to, you know, something like this should never happen for you. Like, you can see in my Unranked to Immortal series, like, You know, I missed my utility maybe like 5 times in total in 60 matches. My dude David missed his utility like he wasted his utility the whole match actually. The only thing that I have problems with still like is the ultimate, like I'm still missing it left and right, bro. Like Roslatan, baby. Roslatan, like literally. That's a Zlatan, but in Valorant. So yeah. Overall, not bad. Overall, not bad. Okay, 2 hours VOD review. Not bad. I think we learned something new. And it was a pretty boring VOD, I must say. A pretty boring VOD. Hopefully, the next one is gonna be better. The next VOD review is on Monday. You know, Monday.